You know, I have all these random selfies on my cell phone from when I have attempted to shoot these videos for y'all, and I hit the little red button, and it's on photo, not video. So, just call me a 12-year-old girl, because my iPhone's full of selfies. Continuity of community continuing in this thought process in this series, because I've now realized this is going to be kind of a breakaway standalone series of concepts, because it's important. It's important enough to pay it the time and attention that it's due, and that should give y'all some idea as to how importantly we take community. More hog prints. We take community here. We are on our Sunday morning walk and talk. We've been tasked by Command Sergeant Major, aka Mama, to find a new pokey stick for the fire. So we are doing that and using this opportunity to talk as well. So what I want to talk about this morning, continuity of community, is people. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jesus First Always, who started this whole concept via a question in a comment thread on a different video, I do believe that part of her question mark, I believe she is a her, but he may be a he. But look, this is a gender neutral society we live in now. So I believe Zer, no disrespect, was referring to at one point, what do I think is going to happen, and or what are my plans for people, the disenfranchised, the misplaced, the starving, roving masses, and I do believe the gnashing and wailing women who are without men, will be without men in that scenario. So let's kind of take that point by point. Number one, as I've said previously, you can't have a resurgence of a community or a continuity of a community without first having a community. So again, major foot stomp. If you don't have a community of like-minded people of one accord about what your survival in an SHTF situation actually looks like, you need to start that now. And when I say that to you, I'm also saying that to me. Now, we've already started. And like all things, it seems fairly simple on the face of it, and it is on the face of it. And then the more in depth you get, the more complex it gets. Well, this channel started titled North Texas MAG, Mutual Assistance Group, NTX MAG. I'm not in North Texas anymore, am I? I'm walking around in Oklahoma. The rest of my MAG is in North Texas. So this location is going to become the bug out location, or one of several bug out locations for our MAG. Now, this is important because in an ideal world, I don't have my manpower spread out over several different locations. We're all centralized in one location because many hands make light work. So the more of us there are in one place, the faster we'll be able to get things done. Whether that thing is planting a field, or cutting firewood, or building a temporary shelter, or butchering a cow, or whatever. So, as far as the people in your group, you need a group, and you need to be doing that now so that you actually have something. You already have a group of people when it all hits the fan. So now let's go kind of point by point. Misplaced people. This means, well, let's back up. Friends and family. I do believe that the best way for you to get your friends and family prepared is to sit down and tell them, I believe this is coming. I am preparing for this. And you don't have to give them specifics. You know, our family is taking steps to mitigate the damages that will be caused by an economic collapse, for example. It's kind of like sharing the gospel with somebody, okay? Your job is to share the gospel. It is not to make them listen or believe you, okay? That conviction, that is done by the Holy Spirit. It's kind of the same thing with, it's been my experience anyway, with telling people that you want them to prepare, okay? So all you can do is share your concerns with them. What happens after that is out of your hands. But now you've alleviated your responsibility for them, right? So the way that you help somebody like that, I think, is you guide them and coach them on the subject, because if every calorie that they have put up already is a calorie that you don't have to give them, okay? Every round of ammunition that they've stockpiled is a round you don't have to give them. Everything that they do for themselves is something you don't have to do for them. And that's good, because you can only do so much. And as I tell people in my family and my friends, I love you and I will help you however I can. Literally however I can. But if and when this all goes down, I will not take a morsel of food out of my kid's mouth to put it into yours. So I expect you to have this, so that we can all be of one accord, and I don't have to worry about you being a liability. Because if you're in a good place, that means that you can help me, and if I'm in a good place, then I can help you. Okay? So friends and family, if they're coming to your place, you need to have that conversation with them. And, okay, you're going to come here, right? This is going to be part of where you end up. Here's what you need to bring with you. And when you get here, Bill, I know you like running a chainsaw. Firewood is going to be part of your duties. And Teresa, I know that you are, you had a nursing degree and now you work childcare. So guess what? You're going to be folded in with the children. It's part of your duties. And in exchange for that, you'll have calories, community, security, blah, 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 blah. So there's a give and a take there. There's a give and a take always, at all times. But if you have friends and family, they need to be preparing for them. And if they won't do it, and you feel compelled, convicted to do it on their behalf, you can. Just remember, they're probably not going to be super appreciative of that. And that's energy you're taking away from other things. That's on you. If you're not in my immediate family, I'm not preparing for you. I'll put it that way. If I can't reach out my hand and lay my hand on your person, I don't consider you my immediate family. So, that's friends and family. Now, refugees. What are we going to do about refugees? These are people you've never met before that happen upon your position, right? And if you're following the steps provided in the security video we did yesterday, shouldn't nobody be getting up on your position without you knowing about it. So, these are people that you've come in contact with that have nothing or have very little and are seeking refuge. So, I've said in previous videos, when we were in suburbia, that I had no intention of taking anybody from the outside in. Homemade gummy bear. All right. So, from the outside, in suburbia, no, that was not my intention at all. Because I had no way to provide additional resources for these additional people other than to stockpile them. And with limited time, energy, money, I don't have the bandwidth, didn't have the bandwidth. Well, now we get out here and I look around. See that tall grass? That's just waiting to be eaten by something that has a split hoof and chews the cud. Now, sorry, it's cold out here. I gotta keep switching hands. One hand in the pocket, one hand getting cold. It's a couple degrees above freezing. Sprinter is here. Spring and winter had a baby, and she's miserable. Now I get out here and I look around. Creek back there, one of three. And I can't help but feel convicted to prepare for people. There is more here than we need, especially once we get this place up and running. As far as food production is concerned, I can make 6,800 pounds of corn off of an acre of corn. That's a lot, just in weight. That's kernels, not ears. Anyway, now I feel obligated to prepare for people I've never met before, because I do feel to a certain extent that they will be led here by God, by the Holy Spirit, by the One, the Father, the Alpha Omega. You pick the title that you pick for that is between you and him, but I don't feel that I was led here just for me. I feel that I was led here in a role of stewardship and preparation for others to come. And that's just some real truth. I don't know who they are or where they're coming from, other than I feel pretty clear as to what my job is. I say pretty clear, I feel really clear as to what my job is. So, vetting those people, Straightway Community, Pastor Dowell, they are all of a like-minded accord. They all spiritually and religiously believe the same way. They all have the same basic outlook on life, and they are all led by the same guiding principles. Shofar Mountain, Pastor Joe Fox, same thing. Same thing. So, to be a member of their tribe is basically to be a member of their congregation. I don't know how you get more vetted than that to live together, worship together, work together, eat together, make life together. Pretty quickly how you feel about somebody. Now, those that they don't know, their standard is you must believe spiritually the way that they believe. And that solves a lot of the questions of who is this person and what do they think, how will they react. And I think that's a good benchmark. For me, I don't know yet. I'm not there yet. I've not put enough thought to that yet. I do know that if my gut tells me not this person, then that person will not be here. Every time I have not listened to what my gut told me, I have regretted it every single time in my entire life. And when I have gone with my gut, every time that I can remember, I've been rewarded for listening to my instincts. So that's my benchmark right now, and if that changes, it changes. But I feel compelled and convicted to prepare to share the bounty and blessing of this land with others. Now, that's refugees. The roving, starving masses, what most people in the preparedness community would refer to as the zombie apocalypse. You know, the metrosexuals with their iPhone 10s and man buns who haven't had a latte in 4 days, roving the county roads looking for food and water, completely inept, with no skills, no nothing, just trying to not die and doing a poor job at it. Where do I stand there? My immediate thoughts is that's what security is for. Ye shall not pass. Turn around and go the other direction. I don't want those people here. If I wanted those people here, they'd be here. They'd be part of my mag already, and they're not. I honestly don't feel an onus to be prepared for people like that. And it's hard for me to say what the differentiation is in my mind between a refugee and a zombie, other than perhaps awareness and spirituality. And those are hard things to quantify, so I'm not going to. What is that? There's a squirrel nest. Okay. But it's not going to be good. Shooting people is always the last option. Let's just say that, okay? That's always the last option. And it's not recommended. But it's not recommended until it's highly recommended. Okay? There's a fine line there, and once you cross that line, there's few other things that will solve that problem other than rounds on target. So best to not be in that position in the first place, which is why we are in this position out here, because the farther you are removed from society, the less likely you are going to have societal problems when the world ends. So that's the zombies, how I feel about them. And then I guess lastly, the gnashing and wailing women. How shall I say this? There are people now, women now, who have children that have a husband or a man that does not fulfill the role that he is supposed to, that are already gnashing and wailing. And without getting into any specifics and naming any names, I have felt now the tug to help them. However, it does say in the Old Testament that if something like that was to occur, that you would take that person, that woman, as a wife, and that she would have all the wifely responsibilities and you would have all the husbandly responsibilities. I'm not interested in that. That has not been laid upon my heart. And I could tell you this, Sergeant Major, she ain't going to be down with that either. And I don't blame her for it. That being said, there will be a place here for that, for those people, not for those actions, but for those people here, should that be necessary. I have one wife, and I like it that way. I don't want any more. I'll just leave it at that. I do intend to build additional structures on this property. As of right now, just right now, there are 8 bedrooms on property, as well as a barn and a shop. And I could sleep 1 family per bedroom if I had to right now. So that's 8 families. Sleep easily, comfortably, 1 family in the barn, maybe 2. 10 families, 3 in the shop, 13 families. I'm planning on building a outdoor kitchen. And by outdoor kitchen, think of a barn that 3 walls open up with either doors or removable wall panels. 3 of the 4 walls open up, and it would have a pitched roof with 2 lofts in it, 1 at each end. And this would be a considerably large outdoor kitchen, probably 16 wide by 32 long, 12, probably 16 high. Why? Number 1, there'll be a smokehouse in there, and there'll be wood-fired kitchens and room to process animals, to do all of your canning, animal processing, smoking of meats, butchering, preservation, packing and wrapping of meat, breaking down, a carcass into primal cuts, final cuts. And then those lofts will be sleeping space and storage space for 2 more families if needed. We're at 15 families right there. There's a couple of sheds that are going to be built here. One up by Grandma's house and one down by our house. In those sheds will be a composting toilet, just because. I know they're expensive, but there'll be a composting toilet just because. And there will also be room in those sheds. I mean, when I say shed, I mean a good-sized shed. There will be room in those sheds for a family each. We're up to 17 families now. There's a couple other structures I need to build. A wood shed. I'm going to rebuild the well house by Grandma's house. And when I rebuild that, it will be built in such a way that there'll be ample room in there for another family. So well house, wood shed, and then redo the well house over by our house. We're up to 20 families, okay? If there's 5 people in each family, that's 100 people. Do I want 100 people here? Boy, I don't know if I want 100 people here. But if it's the Father's will, we'll have 100 people here. If it's the Father's will that we have 300 people here, we will. Although I think that would outpace the ability for us to reproduce resources here. I've mentioned in previous videos about 40 to 50 in my mind and in my heart is the sweet spot here. Now that's just our ability to have people here. Several members of the MEG have travel trailers, things like that, and there is room for them to park them here and to live out of. And frankly, if we had to, we have 14 acres of timber, and we could drop trees and build something if we needed to. Just erect a roof over the top of the trailer or whatever, okay? So we have room for people. So I think it's really important to summarize. We're 25 minutes into this video already. I did not plan for these things to go this long, but sometimes they do. So treat these like a podcast, okay? Just put it on the background and listen. To summarize, it's 34 degrees out here and my hands are cold. That's number 1. And I've got to go cut some more firewood. Number 2, we need a pokey stick for Sergeant Major. Number 3, you should have people now. And you should be building your relationships with those people now and planning with those people now. So that if it all goes to hell in a handbasket, when it all goes to hell in a handbasket, you're not wasting valuable time trying to figure out what next. You've already planned it out. And you already have pre-existing relationships with people. And everybody knows their role. Okay? It's at Ecclesiastes 1 one can stand, two can fight, and a cord of three is not easily broken. Something to that effect. Well, a cord of 50 is much less easily broken than a cord of 3. So, you should build your relationships now, okay? Regarding refugees, if you feel so convicted and you have the resources to prepare for refugees, and by prepare, that may be a 5-gallon bucket with a little bit of food, a wool blanket, and a Sawyer Mini in it. No Life Straw, and a Sawyer Mini in it. And whatever else. A little bit of medical, a roll of toilet paper, some baby wipes, some of that alcohol disinfectant gel, whatever. Put it in a 5-gallon bucket. That's a refugee bucket. Okay? Maybe you make up a dozen of those. And that's your gig. That's what you have for extra people. Just spitballing here. Okay? Think about what you're going to do with refugees. How you're going to handle it. What are your benchmarks for people we keep and people we don't? For the zombies, I have a plan. The best plan is they don't know you exist because you're so far out in the sticks they couldn't find you if they wanted to. The next best plan is they know you exist, but you're not worth the conflict. Peace through superior firepower is a real thing. And that's all I will say about zombies. And I guess the last thing, women and children. It's on my heart to protect and provide for women and children. And frankly, I believe that men should be able to provide for themselves and their families. However, that seems to become less and less common with each day that goes by. Now, I have my own women and children to provide for now. I'm not particularly interested in having more than I do now, but I cannot just turn them away if they show up at my door. So we will be preparing something to that effect. But strictly platonic. There will be no conjugal visits. I ain't interested in that. I do not want more than one wife. That being said, I'm not going to let good people starve. So, we'll see what the Father brings, He brings. He's brought us this place. After 3 years of praying, He brought us this place. And I'm amazed by it every day. And if He can do this, there's myriad other things that He can and will do as well. So my job is to be as prepared here and here as I can for what He's gonna do, and then just let Him drive the bus. I'm just a passenger on this trip we call life, right? He's the bus driver. So we're gonna go wherever He wants us to go, and if He brings other people on the bus to sit next to me, so be it. Does that make sense? Probably not. You're probably like, T, shut up, you're rambling again. It's only almost 30 minutes long. I know, guys. But another video in the continuing saga of continuity of community. These are important things. I take community very seriously, and in the weeks and months and years going forward, I hope to introduce you to more members of our community and chronicle what that looks like for you guys, but I can't foot stomp this enough. Just start now on your end. Just start building your community now, okay? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.